Knights of X, we literally cannot stop guessing characters coming out this year because we are getting Mara Jade Light Side version confirmed as the first marquee character for the new era of Myths and Legend. This is sick, and it looks like she's going to be partnered with Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, just like in the expanded universe. This is really cool. I know a lot of players have mixed feelings about the whole Darth Jar Jar, but I think the real excitement is about all the characters that are coming along with this release in this era. And the first one that CG has announced is Mara Jade Lightside, or Mara Jade Skywalker. I think that's the name. I haven't looked at the kit at all, but I got tagged in Discord by community, and it looks like she's going to be paired with Jedi Knight Luke. I am super excited, and this is crazy implications for what to do forward with the new era, whether you go to 4 or 5 star. Depending on how this is, she's going to be lifting a faction that we've had for a while, and a lot of players should have Jedi Knight Luke because he's required for a lot of Galactic Legends, and he's an overall amazing character. So, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the forum post and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Here it is, Era of Myths and Legends, Mara Jade Skywalker kit reveal. Now, I was told, I haven't looked yet, but her tags are going to be a little interesting. But this is how she's looking, a lot different than her version with Palpatine. So she's got a little bit of a different look to her, but still, overall, very exciting of a character. She's going to be the first marquee, I believe, for the new era. So this is it, Mara Jade Skywalker. She's a light side alignment. Her categories are Attacker, Jedi, and this is the whole WTF. She's considered a New Republic. I'm really curious about what their mindset is with this faction tag, but we're going to dive right into it, and hopefully they talk about it in this post. So, we're going to start out with the lore. Mara Jade Skywalker's story is legendary. As a former Emperor's hand, she broke free from Palpatine's control, carved out her own path in the New Republic, and became a Jedi on her own terms. Mara Jade's kit reflects a high damage attacker who fights smarter as the battle progresses. She counterattacks when hit, applies debuffs to stagger enemies, sets up mass assists, and reaches her full potential when paired with Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. She amplifies the power of his granted ability Heroes Arise, uplifting a Jedi Knight Luke-led squad that can stand on its own. So, I think we were all correct when we speculated with Jedi Training Leia's kit that Jedi Knight Luke is more than likely going to be taken away from JML. I know a lot of players are saying it's mostly for 3v3 and that it's just a certain Omicron upgrade. It's not necessary, but it looks like CG wants us to split Luke with Leia. So Leia might be that replacement for a JML squad, and we're going to have to figure out a separate 5th for a JML lead. Or maybe, we don't know yet about the kit, maybe she slots into a JML squad with Jedi Knight Luke. We will find out soon enough, but this is her basic ability called Two Halves, and we're going to play it and see what it looks like. Alright, pretty cool basic ability, nothing crazy there. But this one reads, final text. Deal physical damage to target enemy and gain protection up 30% for 1 turn. This attack deals 50% more damage if Mara Jade Skywalker has Riposte. So it looks like she's going to be doing amplified damage with Riposte. I wonder if she has anything with that in her kit. If Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is in the ally in the leader slot, during Mara Jade's turn, he assists, dealing 50% more damage and gains 50% turn meter. I like that a lot. So you're calling him to assist, he's dealing extra damage on the assist, and he's gaining turn meter. Jedi Knight Luke is a powerhouse damage dealer. That's a really good basic. Now, the design notes. Mara Jade Skywalker and Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker are at their best when they fight together. We wanted to design Mara to work in tandem with Jedi Knight Luke. The idea was for her basic ability to hit hard while speeding up Luke in a double attack. Another part of this ability is Riposte. If they set this up right, Mara's basic ability can cut through an enemy's protection when armed with Riposte, gained from her second special, making her counterattacks much more dangerous, especially when allies pull her into extra attacks. So it looks like the Riposte is going to be coming from her second special, which we're going to check out in a couple seconds. Inspiration. Mara Jade and Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker were always the center of this ability. In Visions of the Future, Mara Jade tells Luke that they're two halves of a single being. This ability was meant to encapsulate how well they worked together, especially how they defeated Joruus C'baoth, watching each other's backs, attacking as one force. So, I'm not really familiar with this character. A lot of players were mentioning him in possible characters to come. I wonder if that's a sneak peek for what's to come next. That character. I don't know for sure, but they throw that in there. It could just be for inspiration, but that could be a little hint from CG. Now, this is her first special. I always play fair. Let's see how this looks. Alright, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool middle ability. Let's see how this reads. Final text. Deal physical damage and inflict defense down on all enemies for 2 turns. If enemies already had defense down, stagger them for 2 turns instead. All allies gain offense up for 2 turns, and Mara Jade Skywalker gains riposte for 2 turns. So there's the riposte. Pretty cool ability. Defense down, doing physical damage, and stagger, and it's pretty cool. All allies are getting a AoE offense up. I like it. If Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is the ally in the leader slot, deal an additional instance of true damage to stunned enemies, and if at least one enemy is stunned, reduce Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker's cooldown of repulse by 2. So it looks like that's really good synergy with Jedi Knight Luke's AoE stun, because if they're already stunned, she's dealing an additional instance of damage and reducing his cooldown. So I do like that. Design notes. With this ability, Mara Jade shreds defenses and weakens the enemy team, giving allies a stronger offensive window. Use Jedi Knight Luke's shared granted ability, Heroes Arise, to reset Mara's cooldowns and double down on this ability so that enemies already debuffed with defense down are staggered. Pair this with a mass stun from any ally and Mara's offensive builds. Really cool stuff. Inspiration. We wanted this ability to feel like a callback to Mara's past as one of the Empire's most lethal weapons. Always 10 steps ahead of her targets, it also reflects how she fights alongside the Jedi Order and her strength when surrounded by allies. Essentially, she plays exactly as fair as her opponents, leveling the battlefield on her terms. Very, very cool. Now, the synergy here that they're talking about, so it's pretty cool. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker leader, Mara Jade Skywalker deals an additional instance of true damage on stunned enemies and reduce the cooldowns of repulse. This rewards squads that can land stun before Mara takes a turn. So you probably want to get the modding correct for a very defense viable, synergy. That the stun happens before she takes a turn. So whoever's fast, they're going to do Heroes Arise. Jedi Knight Luke is going to do his stun. And then Mara Jade hopefully goes after and deals extra damage. Now, FAQ, does the true damage bonus to stunned enemies require Jedi Knight Luke to specifically apply the stun? No. Any stun from any source qualifies. As long as Jedi Knight Luke is in the leader slot, Mara Jade deals true damage. Okay, so it doesn't matter what happens or where the stun comes from as long as he's in the leader slot. Now, this is the special 2. It's called the Last Command. Let's check this out. Alright, that's pretty cool. Kind of like a slam dunk ability. Not bad. This reads, deal physical damage to target enemy. This ability deals 20% more damage, stacking of 200% for each out-of-turn attack performed by a non-Old Republic Jedi ally until the end of the battle. If the target enemy has defense down, all other allies with Jedi's will assist. Well, what that means is that the mass swarm from like Revan or any of those characters are not going to help. But Jedi Knight Luke calls everyone to assist with Heroes Arise. That's going to ramp up this ability's damage. So it goes up for a cap of 200%. That has some serious one-shot potential with how much, if she's an attacker and you have her modded for damage, that's pretty sick. And now it reads, if Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is the ally in the leader slot, deal an additional instance of damage which can't be evaded, so you're not going to be able to miss. The first time Mara Jade Skywalker uses this ability in the encounter, while Jedi Knight Luke has Jedi's will, he gains 100% turn meter and she takes a bonus turn. Really like that. Design notes. A master in the new Jedi Order, Mara Jade's damage builds from Jedi acting together. The more non-Old Republic Jedi allies attack at a turn, the more dangerous this ability becomes. So they really want to separate Old Republic with other Jedi for this, and it's clear because Satele Shan just came out. They want to break that synergy. The defense down requirement ties back to her first special and gives the team a clear setup pattern. If Jedi Knight Luke is leading and has Jedi's will, this becomes the key back and forth moment for the kit, with Luke and Mara Jade moving in lockstep as a combined force. Yeah, so we're going to have to really think about the modding for this one. It's going to be important. Inspiration. The title of this ability refers to Emperor Palpatine's final command to Mara Jade, kill Luke Skywalker. This directive haunted her for years after the Emperor's death, a dark force vision she couldn't silence. In the Star Wars universe, Mara Jade is forced to confront this order directly when she faces Luke, a dark clone of Luke, and ultimately destroys him instead, breaking the Emperor's hold on her forever. We wanted to represent this show of strength with the stacking damage and Luke's pivotal role in her growth with that second instance of damage. So, could that be a hint that we could be getting a dark side clone of Luke as a character? We're getting a couple hints in this post. I don't know if it's just based off of inspiration for the story, but it seems like they're mentioning very specific things. I wonder if a dark clone of Luke could be possibly coming, and we predicted that last night. Now, first unique, a Galactic Union. Final text. Mara Jade has plus 30% critical chance and critical damage, and whenever she attacks out of turn, she gains protection up 50% for 2 turns. Whenever a Jedi ally with resilient defense uses a basic ability, Mara Jade assists. So I'm thinking that's Mace Windu. Mace Windu has resilient defense a lot. So if he's using a basic, she's going to assist. At the end of each character's turn in which Mara Jade is not damaged, she gains 5% off and stacking to 25% and 5% turn meter. Whenever an ally uses Heroes Arise, reset Mara Jade's cooldowns. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty good. You can really abuse that a lot. At the start of battle, if Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is the ally in the leader slot, Mara Jade Skywalker gains Jedi's Will until the end of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and they both gain instant defeat immunity. Here goes the anti-Kenobi synergy. Every single release is anti-Kenobi, which can't be dispelled until the end of battle or until Mara Jade Skywalker is defeated. Additionally, whenever she critically hits a vulnerable enemy, she inflicts heal immunity on that enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Now, that's pretty cool. They have instant defeat immunity. That's going to shut down some counters. This looks to be a GAC Omicron character. While in Grand Arena and there are no Galactic Legends, okay. At the start of battle, Mara Jade Skywalker gains 25% max health, and the enemy leader loses 100% protection and 50% max protection. Whenever an enemy is defeated, Mara Jade Skywalker gains 100% defense pen for 2 turns, doubled if that enemy was any Luke Skywalker. Wow. Okay, this reminds me of the TW Omicron for regular Mara Jade, but this is for Grand Arena. So they're kind of doing like a role swap in a different game mode for the other Mara Jade. Now, I want to read this again. Mara Jade gains 100% defense pen for 2 turns whenever an enemy is defeated, doubled if that enemy was any version of Luke Skywalker. So does that mean that this team is going to possibly beat, like, JML? Or Commander Luke? Or maybe a new version of Luke? A Dark Luke? I don't know, guys. This is pretty cool. If Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is in the leader slot, Mara Jade is immune to fear and stun and ignores taunt. Additionally, at the start of each encounter, non-Old Republic Jedi allies gain speed up for 1 turn and non-tank stealth for 2 turns. Whenever a non-Old Republic Jedi ally is dazed, they dispel it, gain 50% turn meter. The first time Jedi Knight Luke takes a turn, Mara Jade gains a bonus turn. Very interesting stuff. This reminds me of Asajj Ventress' Omicron for the Bounty Hunters, where they are immune to daze and they dispel it and gain turn meter. I think it's very similar to that mechanic. Whenever an ally uses Heroes Arise, Mara Jade gains 100% turn meter. So with the GAC Omicron, her cooldowns are getting reset, and she's gaining 100% turn meter whenever that ability is used. So Luke's getting a turn, as well as Mara Jade with a cooldown reset. That is extremely powerful. Design notes. Mara Jade doesn't wait around. She gains critical chance and crit damage to make every hit count, and shields herself when she's pulled into counterattacks or assists. We designed her to get stronger the longer enemies ignore her. True to character, she's deadlier if not damaged and left in the shadows. Under a Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker lead, when an ally uses Heroes Arise, it's a powerful cooldown reset for Mara, getting her back into the fight. We designed this to increase the payoff from the granted ability, so she can fight at her best with Luke by her side. Really cool stuff. In Grand Arena, her Omicron turns the pressure up from the start. Mara Jade's unique disables an enemy leader's protection before the fight begins. Mara Jade is immune to daze and fear when Jedi Knight Luke is by her side, showcasing her journey as a light side reflection of her dark side persona. Very, very cool stuff. Inspiration, they say, we wanted this ability to show the best of Mara as a Jedi Knight. It reflects her growth arc when she empowers her allies and stealths them at the start of battle. We wanted this ability to also nod to Luke. They keep spelling Luke wrong for some reason. So anytime Mara Jade or her allies defeat an enemy version of Luke Skywalker, she benefits greatly. And Galactic Union references the marriage of Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker, one of the most celebrated moments in Legends continuity. Their union was proof that it was possible for the two worlds to converge. The Imperial shadow Mara Jade escaped, and the hopeful New Republic and Jedi Order Luke was building. An ex-Emperor's hand and a Jedi Knight together ever and always. Really cool that they're diving into the expanded universe like this. I gotta give them credit. Now, the synergies. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker leader Mara Jade gains a permanent Jedi's Will buff, shared with instant defeat immunity. Effects all require him in the leader slot. So he's got to be in the lead for all of this. She's literally meant to be with Jedi Knight Luke in the lead. That's simply how this kit's going to work. And then, like I said, I was thinking about this when I was reading the kit. Mace Windu, paired with resilient defense in the recommended squad, his basic calls Mara Jade to assist. creating additional out-of-turn attacks that fuel the last command's stacking damage. So what it looks like to me is that we are getting a Jedi Knight Luke, Mara Jade, and Mace Windu 3v3 team, and very high big implications for 5v5. So Mace Windu's new home is going to be with Jedi Knight Luke, it looks like, because resilient defense. This is really cool stuff. Now, I have no idea if there's any other character releases that have come so far.
A few moments later.
Guys, they're releasing everything. I am off. They're coming out in batches. We have everything released. Every single unit has been released. Yoda Dark Side Vision is coming. I did not predict this. We have a Dark Side Yoda coming to the game. Dark Side Healer Sith. This is crazy. Did not predict this one, guys, at all. This one, we're going to go over the kit really quick. Final text reads, deal special damage to target enemy twice and daze them for 1 turn. All Sith allies recover 10% health protection. If target enemy is already dazed and all allies are Sith, stun them for 1 turn. During Yoda's turn, he gains 10 siphon until the end of the encounter. So we're getting a Sith healer. That is insane. I cannot believe it. It's going to be like a Herbert Yoda for Darkseid. The recovering health and protection. What is this going to go with? Is this going to go for Sith Eternal? Is this going to go for the Jar Jar? Jar Jar is definitely the legendary character, by the way, now. So they're talking about synergies with Daze. This video will be an hour long if I go over every single thing, so I just want to go over the kit. I went over all of Mara Jade's because I thought they were releasing it in batches, but this is just nuts. So he's going to have a Hermit Yoda kind of basic with Siphon. This one, Consume I Will. That's pretty dark. Deal special damage to all enemies and all Sith allies recover 25% health and protection. Dispel all debuffs from all other Sith allies and inflict Yoda with them, excluding stackable debuffs. Then inflict all debuffs on Yoda on the target enemy and dispel all debuffs on Yoda. Yoda siphons defense from target enemy. Kind of confusing ability, but looks like there's a defense siphon in his kit. Gain a percentage of defense equal to this unit's siphon until the end of the encounter. That target enemy loses that much defense, excludes raid bosses and galactic legends. So this is pretty interesting. He's like doing some weird stuff with buffs and debuffs, siphoning. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Special number 2, Hear Me You Will. Deal special damage to all enemies and grant target Sith ally potency up for 1 turn. Yoda stealth for 2 turns. All allies gain 2 stacks of heal over time and protection over time for 2 turns. If there's more than 1 ally present at the start of battle, target other Sith ally gains Dark Master's Training until the end of the battle. That's a different type of buff, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Of all allies are Sith, the ally in the leader slot is Gungan. There it is. Inflict Demoralize on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or evaded, or resisted. Yoda gains 5 siphon for each ally with Dark Master's Training until the end of the encounter. So it looks like Darth Jar Jar is leading Yoda, Dark Side Yoda. So that's the thing. If the leader slot is Sith and Gungan, they're getting demoralized. So that's pretty nuts, guys. Demoralize is a very good debuff that stays permanently. Or this one's saying 2 turns. So it's not permanent, it's 2 turns. It's still a powerful opening debuff. Master's Training is minus 20% tenacity, a lot of crit damage, defense, pen, and offense. So kind of like the Sith, you know, lore-wise, you weaken yourselves to make yourself stronger kind of thing. So that's really, really cool. Unique 1, Learn the Darkness You Will at the start of battle. Yoda gains Dark Master's Training. Allies with Dark Master's Training gain the following benefits. Whenever they use a basic ability, they dispel all buffs from target enemy. Whenever they use a special ability, they inflict target enemy with buff disruption for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. At the end of their turn, all Sith allies recover 15% protection, have their health and protection recovery effects increased by 30%, take 35% reduced damage from enemies attacking out of turn, and provoke that enemy for 1 turn. So a lot going on here. Protection recovery, punishing, attacking out of turn, and inflicting provoke, and buff disruption. Very cool stuff. This is interesting. Now, there's a second unique. You are weak, powerless. Yoda has 30% defense. If the ally in the leader slot is a Sith Gungan, all Sith allies have 100% health steal, 50% max health, and whenever enemies gain bonus turn meter, Yoda gains 200 speed until the start of his next turn. So, a lot of counter bonus turn meter synergies there. Whenever a Sith ally is inflicted with a debuff, Yoda gains 7% turn meter while an enemy is debuffed, reduce their health and protection recovery by 30%. At the end of Yoda's turns, all other Sith allies gain 5% of Yoda's defense stacking. So he's got crazy synergy with defense. Very good stuff. He's giving defense to his entire team. He's got turn meter gain. He's got reducing health and protection recovery on the enemy team. Very, very cool. And it looks like he's going to have a TB Omicron. At the start of battle, all Sith allies gain 200% max protection and 80 speed. Whenever an ally is inflicted with a debuff, all Sith allies gain 5% defense stacking for 150% for the rest of the battle. Whenever another Sith ally gains Dark Master's training, a random Sith ally who doesn't have it gets it. Whenever a Sith ally is dazed or stunned, they dispel it, reset their cooldowns, and gain a bonus turn. The first time a Sith ally falls below 50% health, they gain damage immunity for 1 turn. Sith allies take reduced damage from percent health damage effects. Enemies defeated by Sith can't be revived. Very good Omicron. The only downfall is that it's for territory battle, but overall it reads very, very well. So, they're saying closing thoughts. I'll read the closing thoughts. Designing Yoda Darkside was both exciting and challenging because it gave us an opportunity to explore one of the most fascinating what-if moments in Star Wars history. Capturing the idea of Yoda confronting and embracing his own darkness pushed us to create a kit that feels powerful, unsettling, and distinct from any version of Yoda players have ever seen. We are really excited to see how the players experiment with his abilities and hope you all enjoy unleashing the twisted reflection of the Grandmaster as we enjoyed bringing him to life. They do not have art present for him on purpose. Art not present on purpose. So I'm very curious about what that artwork is going to look like. So that's character number 2. This one is something I really am shocked about. I thought we were going to get Starkiller Lightside version. I didn't think we were going to get Luke Skywalker Starkiller, which was his original concept for the original trilogy. His name is supposed to be Starkiller. I've seen artwork like this for Luke all the time. This is crazy. So, he's going to be a light side, support, rebel, and unaligned force user. What are they doing here? They're going over the opening thoughts here. There's a lot to read. I want to go over the kit. I think it's important. That's exactly how he looks in the image every time I see him. This is called Laser Sword Strike. It's a basic. Pretty cool. Final text. Dispel all buffs and deal physical damage to target enemy. If the ally in the leader slot is Commander Luke Skywalker during Starkiller Luke's concept's turn, he gains 20% turn meter. So he's going to be lifting Commander Luke. Who is he replacing? Wow. Okay, so Commander Luke Skywalker is getting another version of Luke as a Starkiller. Really cool. The second ability, Special 1, Son of the Suns. Alright, another jump ability. Pretty cool. This reads, deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. If the ally in the leader slot is Commander Luke Skywalker, he assists and Starkiller Luke inflicts shared fate on the enemy for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. If Commander Luke Skywalker has call to action, he assists a second time, and the Grip of Tython cooldown is reduced by 1. I cannot believe we're getting a Commander Luke lifter unit before General Skywalker. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, that's pretty cool. Buff immunity, calling to assist. What is this shared fate thing? When this enemy receives damage, 20% of the damage is dealt to all other enemies as true damage. This damage can't defeat them. Only one enemy can be inflicted with shared fate at a time. That's a pretty strong debuff or whatever it is. Shared fate, I like the name of it. Kind of sick. Going over the design notes and synergy, I'll leave it on screen in case you guys want to read it, but it's just so much to read. There's a lot of synergy. I did not think like I said, I thought Mara Jade was going to be the only one that we were going to see. This one, special ability, the Grip of Tython. Let's check this out. Alright, that's pretty cool. I kind of like it. Deal physical damage to all enemies, and ability to block them for 1 turn. If the ally in the leader slot is Commander Luke Skywalker and there are no Galactic Legend allies, dispel all debuffs on Rebel allies, and enemies critically hit by this ability lose 20% turn meter. If any debuff was dispelled on Starkiller, Rebel allies gain 25% offense stacking for 100% until the end of battle. So, really cool ability. You're dispelling debuffs. You're gaining turn meter. Or they lose turn meter. And you're gaining a crap load of offense. So that is a really cool special ability. The Force of Others is the unique. It reads, Rebel allies have 15% crit chance, 25% max health, and max protection. Doubled if Commander Luke is the ally in the leader slot. If the ally in the leader slot is Commander Luke, and there are no Galactic Legends, whenever a Rebel ally critically hits a target enemy, That enemy is exposed for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy with Shared Fate uses a special ability, increase the cooldowns of all other enemies by 1. The first time an ally gains guard, Starkiller and all rebel attacker allies without guard gain it for 2 turns. So that's Chewbacca. Chewbacca gains guard. So does that mean the whole team is going to gain guard? The first time an ally gains guard, Starkiller, I think every rebel is going to have guard, so you're not going to be able to crit them. That's powerful. Whenever Commander Luke gains call to action, all rebel allies gain call to action for 1 turn. That's really, really strong. Grand Arena Omicron. While in Grand Arenas, if Commander Luke Skywalker is in the allied leader slot and there are no galactic legends, whenever a rebel ally attacks out of turn, they have 50% defense pen. Whenever a rebel ally is ability blocked, they dispel it and gain protection up for 2 turns, 25% turn meter. Enemies with Shared Fate can't gain bonus turn meter, and whenever they start their turn, Starkiller gains 50% turn meter. That is pretty interesting, guys. A lot of defense pen. Whenever they're ability blocked, they're going to dispel it. They gain protection up. They gain turn meter. And Shared Fate enemies can't gain bonus turn meter. That's very powerful. And he's going to be gaining a crap load of turn meter. 50% whenever they start their turn. So that's an extremely powerful ability. And the closing thoughts. This is a lot. They're talking about George Lucas's early scripts. About, him being Starkiller. Our goal wasn't to change how Commander Luke's squad plays, but to build upon what has made it a fan favorite for so many years. It's one of the oldest squads in the game. Bringing CLS team to modern standards while preserving its unique identity was a rewarding challenge. Starkiller is designed to strengthen the squad's existing playstyle while improving its synergy, strengthening its survivability and control, and giving this iconic rebel team the tools it needs to remain competitive in today's battles, with none other than the one who sparked the fire and started it all, Starkiller Luke concept. That is a very cool ability, or a cool kit. I want to know what you guys think about that. I gotta take a sip of water. A lot of reading, a lot of stuff going on. So that's character number 3. Commander Luke getting a lifter unit. It's Starkiller Luke concept. Next unit, Stormtrooper concept. He's got a freaking lightsaber and a shield. He's going to be a dark side, tank, Empire, Imperial trooper. A sturdy trooper tank inspired by Ralph McQuarrie's legendary early artwork for Star Wars A New Hope. We're getting a Stormtrooper with a lightsaber. This is insane. I want to know what he's going to be doing. What is he going to be doing? This one's called Enforcer's Blade. So that's pretty cool. This reads, deal physical damage to target enemy and gain defense up for 1 turn. If Stormtrooper concept is buffed, they gain recover 15% health protection. So that seems very basic. Very basic of a basic, but defense up and recovering health protection. So I'm wondering if he's going to be in an Imperial Trooper squad, which is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know yet. There's a lot to talk about. Okay, they're talking about Admiral Piet's inevitable failure. He might be a possible tank for the Imperial Trooper faction, is what I am seeing. Concept, stuff with Mara Jade and the Emperor's Blade. A lot to go over, a lot of stuff. This next ability, Line Breaker. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Gets like super speed. Deal physical damage to target enemy, stun them, and taunt for 2 turns. All Imperial Trooper allies gain protection up 40% for 2 turns and recover protection equal to 25% of Stormtrooper Concept's defense. All Imperial Trooper ally attackers gain advantage for 2 turns. So he's going to be gaining taunt, he's stunning, protection up, attackers are gaining advantage, which is going to mean they're going to crit and recover protection. Pretty good middle ability. Nothing crazy so far, but pretty cool. Yeah, in a General Veer squad, this is a Imperial Trooper lifter. Without a doubt, we're giving the troopers a tank that they need. Very, very cool. A lot going into a lot of detail that we'll have to figure out way, way later when these characters come into the game. This is a unique Alderaan Prison Security, Zeta and Omicron. At the start of battle, if all allies are Imperial Troopers, Stormtrooper concept taunts for 2 turns at the start of battle, so a pre-taunt for troopers. While Stormtrooper is taunting, they have 50% defense and tenacity, and whenever they are damaged by an attack, deal damage equal to 50% of their defense to the attacker as true damage, so kind of like that reflect kind of thing. Can't defeat enemies. All other Imperial Trooper allies have 30% crit avoid in defense. The first time each other Imperial Trooper ally falls below 50% health, Stormtrooper taunts, and that ally gains protection up 50% for 2 turns. While in Grand Arena, so GAC Omicron, If all allies are Imperial Trooper and there are no Galactic Legends, whenever Stormtrooper concept is damaged by an attack, all allies gain 10% turn meter. Whenever taunt is dispelled from Stormtrooper concept, they taunt for 1 turn, which can't be dispelled. Very, very cool. Whenever an ally is dazed, that ally dispels it, gains 25% turn meter. Whenever an ally with protection uses an ability on their turn, call another random ally to assist. So that's going to be pretty good. Pretty good. They're going to be gaining turn meter, lots of taunting, immune to daze. They're going to be dispelling daze and gaining turn meter, so Bad Batch isn't going to work. Any sort of daze mechanic really shut down the troopers from that turn meter manipulation and gain. So being immune to daze pretty much is very, very powerful. And they're actually punishing you from dazing them. So that is going to be Stormtrooper, I think. And this is all the synergies and the inspiration. There is so much to freaking read. A lot. But you guys get the idea. Imperial Troopers getting a lifter unit. That's character number 4. This last character, I have no idea what this is. If anyone has heard of this character, let me know down below because I simply have not. Jaxxon Lightside. I have never seen this character. It looks like something from like Disney World. Looks like a bunny, but okay. Lightside, Attacker, Mercenary, Scoundrel, and Smuggler. So let's check this out. First leapt his way into Star Wars via the original run of the Marvel Comics. Okay, that's news to me. Working as a mercenary for Han Solo, Jaxxon would... Okay, so he's a mercenary, bounty hunter, whatever you call it. What is his purpose? He's going to be... creates amazing synergy with prepared mechanics. So, okay, he looks like he's going to be paired with Dash Rendar and Young Lando. So, they're getting a resurgence. Blasters up Doc. Is this Bugs Bunny? What is this? Okay. We're getting Bugs Bunny in Galaxy of Heroes. This is crazy. Deal physical damage to target enemy twice and inflict vulnerable for 1 turn. Prepared, Jaxxon attacks again, and if it's his turn, all prepared allies gain 25% turn meter for each attack. He has synergies with Dash Rendar and the Scoundrel prepared mechanic. Very, very cool. I mean, that's a very basic again. Gotta see more of his kit, but pretty cool that Dash is getting a lifter. This is Hop Till You Drop. What is this? Is this a little silly? Or is... let me do that again. Looks like a Powerpuff Girl ability. Like, I don't even know. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict off balance for 2 turns. Prepared, stun the enemy for 1 turn. So, pretty basic ability. Deal physical damage, offense, inflict off balance, and then you can stun them if he's prepared. So, these are very, very basic. This next one is Fluffle Shuffle. What are these names? Alright, that AoE looks familiar to Brutus. That's like identical to Brutus, I think. Yeah, that's Brutus's AoE, so, okay. Deal physical damage to all enemies. If the enemy leader is Darkseid, this attack deals 20% more damage for each prepared ally. Otherwise, this attack deals 10% more damage for each prepared ally. Jaxxon has 25% chance to use Blasters Up Doc. If any version of Lando Calrissian is an active ally, this chance becomes 100%. Prepared, this attack can't be countered or evaded. So that's a pretty cool mechanic. Depending on... Is he considered an attacker really quick? I want to double check. I forgot. He is a attacker, so he might be a big damage dealer. It might not be the most crazy kit right now, but he might be hitting pretty hard. So that is that ability. Now, the unique Starship Down, Zeta and Omicron. Jaxxon has 20% crit chance, max health, and 20 speed. If any version of Lando Calrissian is an active ally, Jaxxon and every version of Lando gains 50% crit damage, crit chance, max health, and all allies are immune to speed down for 1 turn. While Jaxxon is active, prepared allies have 50% defense. Whenever a prepared ally loses prepared, they gain 10% turn meter. Whenever an ally version of Lando Calrissian uses a special ability, they dispel all debuffs on all allies. All allies recover 20% health and protection. There's a lot going on here. A lot of prepared synergies, a lot of synergy with Lando Calrissian. The first time Jaxxon would be reduced to 1% health, he stealths for 2 turns, recovers 100% health and protection, so a mini savior mechanic. If all allies are scoundrels, whenever Jaxxon scores a critical hit, he gains 20% critical damage, max 200% until the next time he doesn't critically hit. So he's going to be a massive damage dealer. That's what I'm getting from his kit. And his Omicron, it looks to be a TB one, so not super interesting. Scoundrel allies have 50% max health and protection and 50 speed. Whenever a prepared ally loses prepared, they gain prepared. Whenever a scoundrel ally gains prepared, they gain 30% bonus protection. Defense penetration stacking until the end of the battle. At the start of each encounter, Scoundrel allies gain prepared. If they didn't already have it, take a bonus turn. Enemies defeated by Scoundrel allies can't be revived. So, pretty good in terms of a TB Omicron, but again, not the most important Omicrons in my opinion. So, their closing thoughts. Giant green space rabbit that has been adored by fans for nearly a long... I don't know. I've never heard of this character. Am I living, under a rock? I don't know. They're talking about an issue that's already being in-game already as well.
A few moments later.
We are literally not done yet. They keep releasing more and more stuff. This video is going to be an hour long. Did not expect them to drop everything all at once, but we're getting the Ronin from Star Wars Visions. This is crazy. Look at that. We're actually getting the Ronin. Dark Side, Attacker, Sith. He's from the Star Wars Visions show. Yes, I have yet to watch it. I think I watched season 1. I gotta watch more of the other seasons. The Ronin is designed to work with a Sith squad led by Darth Jar Jar. He synergizes heavily with Darth Jar Jar, a Gungan Sith leader who accelerates R5-D56's arrival and enables guaranteed critical hits. Yoda Darkside Vision, fellow Sith ally whose presence further accelerates the boiling point countdown. Darth Maul, fellow Sith ally who benefits from the squad's growing offensive pressure. And Darth Sidious, fellow Sith ally who complements the duo's debuff and damage output. That's the team right there. It's literally Darth Jar Jar lead, Darkside Vision Yoda, Darth Maul, Sidious, and Ronin. That's going to be the new team. All Sith. Now, over here, the abilities aren't loading, so let me double check what's going on here. Maybe it's not loaded for the page, or am I missing something? Maybe they don't have the abilities up? No, they do. Okay. So, where are we? Let's go to the basic. Wandering Steel Hums. This is the basic. He looks pretty cool. Okay. That's pretty sick. Deal physical damage to the target enemy and gain offense up for 1 turn. Each time this ability is used, increase the damage of Oaths Buried Beneath Silence by 20%, stacking max 100% until the end of battle. R5-D56 gains 10% max health. Is R5 Ronin? Who is R5? Is that the Ronin? I'm not understanding. Oh, you're getting a spawn unit? Are you getting a spawn? Wait a minute. I don't know the show enough, guys. Let's see. Until the end of battle, R5-D5 gains 5% max health stacking, 100% until the end of battle. The target enemy is shocked, and the ally is in the leader slot as a Sith Gungan. This attack is guaranteed to be a critically hit if able. Wow. I think we're going to set up some more things later on in this post. I think we're getting a spawn droid. This enemy is shocked. There's just shock synergy. There's max health synergy. I'm sure when we get more into the kit, we're going to see. But now this is the first special, Oaths Buried Beneath Silence. Let's check this out. That's a sick ability. That's a sick animation. I can't even believe this is real. How is this real? Deal physical damage to target enemy if they have resilient defense or taunt. This ability deals 300% more damage and inflicts armor shred until the end of the encounter, which can't be evaded or resisted. It's a sick ability, and it's obviously destroying tanks. If it's a tank, it's dealing 300% more damage. That's crazy. Looks like we got some bleed synergy. Inflict 2 stacks of bleed until the end of the encounter, which can't be dispelled or resisted. Each time this ability is used, increase the damage of Wandering Steel Hums by 100%. Max 300% until the end of battle. The Ronin siphons critical damage from the target enemy, which can't be resisted, and R5-D56 gains the same amount. So Yoda is siphoning defense. He is siphoning critical damage. And there's some bleed synergy that's pretty cool. Now, I gotta check out the unique. Mercy Left Behind, Zeta Omicron. Final text. At the start of battle, the Ronin gains 10 stacks of Boiling Point, which can't be copied or dispelled. At the start of each of his turns, he dispels 1 stack. If there's a Gungan Sith ally in the leader slot, dispel an additional 5 stacks. If there's a Sith healer ally, dispel an additional 5 stacks. When Boiling Point expires, summon R5-D56. The Ronin has 50% crit damage. Whenever a manipulated enemy begins their turn, the Ronin gains advantage for 1 turn. So yeah, you're literally having a spawn unit. He's summoning a droid. But this is so cool. And at the start, I mean, he's got to gain boiling stacks for that to happen. When boiling expires, you're getting it. Okay. At the start of his turn, He gains 25% critical damage stacking for each enemy with resilient defense, stealth, or taunt until the end of his turn. Whenever the Ronin or R5-D5-6 scores a critical hit, both gain 3 siphon until the end of the encounter. When R5-D5-6 is summoned, the Ronin gains 30% defense pen and max health until the end of battle, and all Sith allies gain 100% bonus protection for 1 turn. Whenever an enemy attacks out of turn, the Ronin gains 10% turn meter. This is pretty cool. Boiling point, when stacks reach 0, R5-D5 is 6. So the more stacks of boiling point you remove, that's when the summon comes out. It's not necessarily going to come out right away. Or at least not yet. And there's a TW Omicron. And all allies are non-Galactic Legend Sith. While R5-D5-6 is active, the Ronin has 50 speed. While the Ronin is active, R5-D5-6 has 50% offense. Whenever the Ronin attacks the enemy in the leader slot, he gains alert and speed up for 2 turns. Whenever a manipulated enemy starts their turn, the Ronin in R5-D5-6 gains 5 siphon until the end of the encounter. Allies with emergency powers gain 50... Is that like... That's got to be a Jar Jar buff. Emergency powers. He says that in Revenge of the Sith. Gains 50% defense pen. Whenever an enemy with bleed gains resilient defense, stealth, or taunt, they lose 10% max health, and the Ronin gains 10% turn meter. This is pretty sick. There's a lot going on here. This is for TW. He might be a powerhouse. Think that's everything over here. The summon. So this is the summon. He's in the show. Okay, this is called Arc Jab. He's got like a really cool hat. Just the basic. Okay. Deal physical damage to target enemy and shock them for 1 turn. The Ronin gains protection up 50% for 1 turn. The target enemy has bleed. This attack deals 100% more damage. Wow, that's a big, big spike. Seems very similar to R5-D4. This is called Guided Payload. This is the first special. Okay. Deal physical damage to all enemies. Deal an additional instance of damage for each enemy. Max 5 with resilient defense, stealth, or taunt. So a lot of synergy against defense, stealth, and taunt. R5-D5-6 siphons critical chance from the target enemy, which can't be resisted, and the Ronin gains the same amount. The Ronin has plus 50 speed for the rest of the encounter. Inflict a stack of bleed till the end of the encounter, which can't be dispelled or resisted if the enemy has resilient defense, stealth, or taunt. He is siphoning critical chance, so there's definitely a lot of siphoning going on around here within this team. So he's gaining a lot of speed. There's just a lot going on here. There's a lot to read. I can't go over everything in this video. If you guys want more of a detail about this, join the Swoga forum post and check it out. There's just so much to read. I just want to go over quickly the kits. So that's the Ronin. Now, we also got the kit for Jar Jar. We got everything revealed. So Darth Jar Jar kit reveal. He's definitely the legendary. It's without a doubt. Leader, support, Gungan, Sith. He's the new Stark Side leader. And they're going into like this whole thing about it. And we're going to read all about it. So I'm not sure if his abilities are up. Let me refresh the page. We might not have him up yet. Yeah, I don't know if his abilities are here. Let me double check on the bottom. Are they not showing it? Let me refresh one more time. The abilities might not be up and running. Yeah, so the abilities aren't up yet, but we will go over it. Misa going to hurt Yusa is the basic. Deal special damage to target enemy and shock them for 1 turn. During his turn, if all allies are Sith, deal additional effects that last for 1 turn. Inflict tenacity down on all enemies that don't have it. If any enemy had damage immunity, dispel it, and all Sith allies gain it. Wow. If target enemy has 3 or more stacks of bleed, inflict death mark. Holy moly. Shock will help trigger plasma residue. Other Sith who can provide consistent bleed will allow for death mark to help eliminate enemies. This guy's going to be disgusting. Yusa people gonna die. Special 1. What an ability name. Deal special damage to target enemy, and manipulated enemies are blinded and gain speed up for 1 turn. If there are no Galactic Legend or Sith Empire allies, target enemy becomes manipulated if they didn't already have it, and no other enemies have it, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted until the end of the encounter, and they stealth for 2 turns. Darth Jar Jar gains outmaneuver. That's a Millennium Falcon ability. Remove marked from all allies, then a random Sith ally gains bonus protection 50% until the end of the encounter, and is marked while they have this protection. When this marked expires, another random Sith ally is marked and gains bonus protection. It's kind of like a loop, like a hop almost. until the end of the encounter until all other Sith allies have been marked. So that is a lot. There's a lot going on here. Our blinded game. Wait, did I miss a part? Whoops. I think I missed a part. Whoops. Deal special damage to target enemy, and manipulated enemies are blinded and gain speed up for 1 turn if there are no galactic legend or Sith. Wait, did I read this already? Guys, I can't even remember. I've been reading so much. I think I read this. This is a pretty cool ability. It looks like you cannot target him. You cannot target Jar Jar. My head's going all over the place. There's so much happening right now. Okay, this is special too. Letten the Hayton Flow. What are these names? Deal special damage to all enemies and inflict them with plasma residue for 2 turns. If there is a shield generator, it takes 15 additional instances of damage. What? Deal special damage to all enemies inflicted with plasma residue. If there's a shield generator, it takes 15 additional instances of damage. Sith allies gain defense up and foresight for 2 turns. Darth Jar Jar siphons max protection from all non-manipulated enemies, which can't be resisted, and then all Sith allies gain that amount. So now he is siphoning max protection. So everyone is doing some crazy siphoning stuff. Holy moly. While in Grand Arena and there are no Galactic Legend allies, Sith allies gain 5% offense stacking per siphon stack on Darth Jar Jar until the end of the encounter. Inflict all enemies with healing immunity for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. Enemies without protection can't resist the plasma residue. And whenever it expires, it is reapplied at the end of the turn if Darth Jar Jar is active. If any enemy has bleed, inflict a stack of bleed on all enemies that don't have it until the end of the encounter. There's a lot going on here. Stacking offense per siphon, heal immunity, can't resist plasma residue. If they have bleed, they inflict bleed on all enemies. A lot happening here. A lot. Is that his leadership? What was that? That's his special 2. Okay, I guess the leadership is last. I thought like we're going in order. Unique 1, the Phantom Menace. At the start of battle, Darth Jar Jar gains hatred, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented for the rest of the battle. Whenever an enemy takes damage from bleed, Darth Jar Jar gains frenzy for 2 turns. Darth Jar Jar gains a bonus turn after the first turn taken by the enemy in the leader slot. Whenever a manipulated enemy starts their turn, they take 50% max health damage. What? Holy moly. They equalize their health and protection with the strongest enemy, and Darth Jar Jar gains a bonus turn. Whenever Darth Jar Jar uses every ability, allies Darth Sidious gains emergency powers, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. If he didn't already have it for 2 turns, once its effect has expired, Darth Jar Jar must use every ability again for Darth Sidious to gain emergency powers. Okay, big question. What is emergency powers? I think we see it down below. But it says, while in Grand Arena, and there are no Galactic Legends, all allies, Sith allies gain hatred. Oh my god. Which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented for the rest of the battle. Whenever a Sith ally is ability blocked, they gain massively overpowered for 1 turn. Oh, that's like the conquest thing we used to get. Emergency powers is 200% defense, offense, 100% counter chance, 100 speed. At the start of this unit's turn, all allies recover health and protection. 100% health and protection. Wow. This is looking bananas. Very much looking bananas broken. Holy moly. This is the leader. The Force shall free in Misa. This is insane. Whenever Darth Jar Jar is ability blocked, dazed, or stunned, the enemy who inflicted it is inflicted with the same debuff for 1 turn, which can't be dispelled. Sith allies are immune to investigation, so Master Mace is not doing anything against Sith, I guess. I don't know, that's a weird call-out. At the start of each encounter, Darth Jar Jar marks himself, which can't be dispelled until he receives damage. At the start of each enemy's first turn, a random Sith ally gains a bonus turn if they haven't taken a turn yet. Sith allies are immune to cooldown manipulation until they use a special ability. Darth Jar Jar ignores taunt effects on his first turn. Whenever a manipulated enemy falls below 100% health, Sith allies gain a stack of Dark Infusion. That's Darth Malik's ability, which can't be dispelled or prevented until the end of battle. Whenever a manipulated enemy gains a buff, Darth Jar Jar gains 3 Siphon. Whenever a manipulated enemy is inflicted with a debuff, the weakest other enemy is feared for 1 turn if they didn't already have it. This is just a lot. While any Sith ally is marked, Darth Maul has a 100% counter chance and defense and deals 10% bonus true damage based on his max health. Lots of callouts here. While in Grand Arena, whenever a Sith ally's ability block, dazed, or stunned, the enemy who inflicted it is inflicted with the same debuff for 1 turn. So that looks like it's making it more team-wide instead of just Jar Jar, which can't be dispelled. While Sith allies are stunned and are damaged by an attack, Deal 100% of the damage received to the attacker as true damage. 100% back, that's pretty powerful. Whenever a Sith ally is feared at the end of the turn, they deal 1 true damage to themselves. This damage can't defeat them. Interesting. Whenever they're feared, they're dealing 1 true damage to themselves. I wonder what that is all about. Guys, this is an interesting kit. I don't know how I feel about this. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on, and this is going to be a very long video, but wow, guys. That's everything. I want to know what you guys think about this, because this was completely, like, I was not expecting the Ronin. I don't know how I feel. Darth Jar Jar is leading a brand new Sith team of Side Yoda, Ronin, Sidious, and Darth Maul. Emergency powers, Misa confused, because this is the craziest thing CG has ever done. Want to know what you guys feel? I want you guys to let me know down below. How are you feeling about these characters, these kits? Who are you the most excited for? And is this going a little bit overboard, or is it just perfect for Swoga at the moment? So, lot to talk about. Long video, lots of kit reading. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of video from me. If you did, leave a like on your way out. Comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe for more content from your boy. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you all. Peace.